Hello everyone, this is Ayaz with his podcast by Ayaz. And today's topic is echoes of war, from swords to sanctions. War, the oldest tragedy written into the DNA of civilization. From the first spear thrown in ancient Sumer to missiles fired in the 21st century, war has changed, but the tears of mothers, the scars on cities, and the emptiness left behind, that has never changed. Some wars burned through centuries, like the Hundred Years' War between England and France wasn't just a century of battles. It was a century of blood-soaked identity formation, famine, and political collapse. The Vietnam War, fought across 3 decades, left over 3 million dead, including thousands of American soldiers, and even more invisible traumas. The Afghanistan conflict, involving the Soviets, the US, and internal warlords, lasted over 4 decades in waves. From Mujahideen to Taliban, the enemy shifted, but peace never stayed. And then there are short wars that leave long shadows. The Six-Day War in 1967. Lightning fast, but its consequences still shape Middle East politics today. The Kargil War between India and Pakistan in 1999 lasted just over 2 months, but the wounds on both sides still throb. The Russia-Georgia War in 2008, 5 days of combat, but years of instability followed. And in the heart of Africa, the battles often aren't between nations, but between militias, despots, and the people they claim to protect. In Rwanda, 1994, nearly 1 million people were killed in 100 days. Not by bombs, but by machetes, by neighbors. The Second Congo War, often called Africa's World War, involved 9 nations and killed over 5 million people, mostly from disease and starvation. In Sudan and Darfur, government-backed Janjaweed militias unleashed terror, using starvation as weapons of war. In Liberia and Sierra Leone, child soldiers were drugged, armed, and used as tools of terror by warlords like Charles Taylor. Even today, terrorist militias like Boko Haram operate in Nigeria and surrounding nations, kidnapping girls, bombing villages, and enslaving communities, while the world watches from a distance. These are not just African problems, these are human failures. In 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine, not just to seize land, but to reclaim a ghost of the Soviet Empire. But Ukraine resisted, and what was expected to be a swift conquest turned into a grinding modern trench war. Over 500,000 casualties across both sides. Cities like Mariupol, Bakhmut, and Kharkiv reduced to rubble, the largest refugee crisis in Europe since World War II. And beyond the missiles and maps, the real war is about identity. Is Ukraine its own nation or a lost province? Is NATO expansion a threat or a shield? Again, the answers are blurred, but the suffering is not. The India-Pakistan conflict is not just a war of borders. It is a war born of 1947's partition, where millions were displaced and over 1 million people died in one of history's largest human migrations. They have fought three major wars: 1947, Kashmir; 1965, full-scale war; 1971, Bangladesh, liberation. Pakistan split into two. And in 1999, Kargil brought nuclear-armed nations face to face again. And this recent war, in the month of May, which was stopped, de-escalated by Donald Trump. The weapons have become more advanced, the rhetoric more dangerous, and yet the people on both sides still hope for peace. Artists collaborate, students exchange letters, farmers near the border wave to each other. But governments don't always speak the language of peace. In the Holy Land, peace is an idea preached but rarely practiced. The Israel-Palestine conflict is older than most listeners of this podcast. Both sides claim land. Both sides claim victimhood. Both sides claim God. Gaza is often described as an open-air prison, bombed regularly. Israeli cities are struck by rockets launched by Hamas or Islamic Jihad. Entire neighborhoods vanish overnight. Civilians die in marketplaces, homes, and schools. And yet, every escalation starts with blame. They started it. No, they provoked us. Is the ultimate chicken or the egg dilemma, while real lives are lost in the debate. Today, we are in the fifth day of war between Israel and Iran. Israel struck first, a preemptive attack on Iran's nuclear program. Iran responded with a wave of missile fire. Now the world watches, holding its breath. The US may be preparing to enter with bunker buster bombs to reach Iran's nuclear core hidden under mountains in Fordo. Meanwhile, Russia sides with Iran, and American citizens question. Meanwhile, Russia sides with Iran, and American citizens question why their tax dollars must fund another war. The point of all this, the wars may differ, the borders, the flags, the accents, the weapons, but the result always the same. A mother cries, a child bleeds, a city dies, a generation forgets what peace even feels like. We say history repeats itself, but it doesn't. We do. This has been Echoes of War, from Source to Sanctions. I'm your host, Ayaz Quaida, and you were listening to Podcast by Ayaz. Thanks for listening to this podcast, and I would really appreciate if you could like, share, comment, and subscribe. Comments are very important. Leave some comments if you like this podcast. Add something, share the knowledge you have regarding wars, conflicts, and how to bring the peace and harmony back to this planet. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Take care all.